Today's episode was inspired by a recent conversation I had with a friend of mine who's a writer. We were discussing how creative expression comes from one being able to face their own true self. He made a comment that it would make him feel vulnerable, almost naked, he said. And that conversation made me pause because self awareness is often misunderstood as sharing. And knowing yourself is not the same as putting your entire life on display, as if you're exposing your black box. This conversation took me all the way back to many years ago when I was preparing my graduation thesis for the Holistic Studies program. And that's what we're going to talk about today. What is in your black box? Hello and welcome back to Unbox the Podcast. I'm your host, Sahar Palmer. And today we're going to talk about what your black box might be recording. At the beginning of the 4-year holistic therapy program, we were asked to choose one person as a study case. I chose a friend of my late husband. Over those 4 years, we met regularly. I asked questions. I listened. I noted his answers, his reactions, and I began to map out how things unfolded in his life, how he reacted emotionally, when did he fall ill, how his mind later interpreted these experiences, and how the decisions he made led him to where he was at today. And guess what? They lined up. When the time came to prepare my graduation thesis, the idea became very clear to me. I compared what has happened, his emotional responses at the time, how his body responded, and how all of that shaped the way he thought and the decisions he made later in his life. Incident by incident, it mapped. He was genuinely flabbergasted when he saw it all laid out. Not because the events were new to him, but because he had never seen the imprint they left behind. And that is when the question really formed in my mind. If we each had a black box, what would it be recording? What imprints remain? Let's go back to your black box. If human beings had a black box, what would it be recording? I'm not talking about a chronological, biographical history. No dates, facts, or even a timeline of what has happened. But what imprints would your black box record? What does your body remember? Because our body holds the record of all emotions that were invoked, and these emotions form our belief system, and this causes us to quietly direct our life based on those beliefs and by those physical and emotional imprints. Beliefs form silently, and then they drive our behavior for years. A human black box wouldn't show what has happened. It would show what each significant moment left behind. And more importantly, it would show where something became a pivot, a transformational experience, how it was a catalyst to activating a transition into a new cycle. Or even it would show the times when something was never completed, never dealt with. And this is where courage comes in. Your courage does not relive a memory. It is ignited by it. It lives in how you respond when something feels familiar, when something feels threatening, when something feels true but inconvenient. Your courage doesn't stem from what has happened, but because of it and what you have learned from it. This is where usually people get stuck. They try to change a past story by imposing a new narrative over it, but their body rejects it. This is because the body doesn't respond to explanation. It responds to recognition. I'll say it again. Your body doesn't respond to explanation. It responds to recognition. That's your moment to claim your courage, to be the real you. It doesn't matter what you tell yourself or how many times you say it, unless you actually embody it, live your truth, have the courage to be you, and start showing up, acknowledging your inner truth, nothing will change. And this is why insight alone is not enough. The truth is, you can understand your past stories perfectly well, but still repeat them. We talked about the power of your story during the last season, 2025. You can always go back and listen to them whenever you feel the need to. Real change begins when you start expressing your inner truth, having become aware of your past stories, past pain, and past fear. Not why they've happened, not who was responsible, but how they have shaped who you are today. For example, how does your body react when you are about to speak honestly? Notice the relief it brings, the freedom, a sense of being liberated when you actually stand up for your truth. What emotions do you experience when something matters to you? Do you stay present or do you shut down? What belief takes over in moments of uncertainty? Do you defer, overfunction, withdraw, or try to take control of the outcome? These are not personality traits. They are learned responses. And they are not problems, they are information. And your present, as things happen in the now, guides you to the need to show up and stay true. And this is where courage stems from. When you experience the courage to be you, self-leadership emerges. When you start treating your reactions as information rather than flaws, something really shifts. You stop fighting yourself. Self-leadership is not about fixing your story. It's about learning how to read it accurately. And this requires one skill above all others: the ability to pause and observe. Not a dramatic pose, a functional one. A pause where you notice what is happening in your body, what emotion is present, even if it's faint, what thought is trying to take over, and what small action can bring you back into alignment so that you would feel this is who you are. This is not about perfection. It is about self-regulation. When you regulate your system, your past stories loosen their grip. You can't erase your past, but in a self-empowering way, you outgrow its authority naturally when you have the courage to be you. There's a powerful Chinese proverb that I once came across as a teenager, and it really stayed with me since then. Analysis is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but nowhere to go. Think about that. Intellectual understanding often doesn't solve a problem. Try connecting with your inner compass instead. Become aware of the information your body is sensing and recording this sensation in your black box. And that is why the present moment matters so much, not the past. Think about this. We don't enter the past directly. We always enter it from the now. Something happens in the now, and then suddenly we're brought back to a past situation or a memory. If we keep going back to the past as a place to live in, we are going to stay there. But with self-awareness, we can catch what is being triggered in the present, and we can deal with it from the present, because we have become a different person now, and we can do that. This is what is at the heart of Unbox with Sahar, Unbox Mentoring, even Unbox the Podcast. It is looking for, identifying, and allowing the real you to emerge. Here's a simple reflection. If you want something practical to take with you, try this. The next time you feel stuck, ask yourself, whenever you're experiencing a trigger moment, what is my body going through right now? What emotion is present, even if it's faint? What belief is driving my next move before you act? Do not judge the answers, just notice them. Then ask yourself one more question. What is a small action that I can take now which would honor how I feel and not override it? That action doesn't need to be dramatic, but it needs to be honest. And once you get used to taking these small actions, you will naturally be able to make bigger steps. Before I leave you, let's wrap up. Your black box is a record of whatever you're still holding onto. Be thankful for the reminders whenever they show up, because they're guiding you to clear them by showing up and by staying true to you. If you would like a practical way to work with this awareness, I invite you to explore my Meet Your Body Tools for Life. It is a guided, downloadable PDF resource designed to help you recognize what your body recorded in your black box and how to respond to it with clarity and clear it, heal it, and bring it into alignment. I'll leave the link in the show notes. Thank you for listening. Until next week, this is Sahar Palmer wishing you the courage to be you.